Welcome back, Nation of Glory, the place where legends rise, where stories breathe, and where every journey is transformed into a cinematic experience for your heart and imagination. Today, we bring you a story that will lift your spirit, move your emotions, and remind you of the unbreakable human soul, a story of power, passion, tragedy, hope, and rebirth. The story of a man who brought joy to millions, who carried laughter, strength, and energy wherever he went, a man known worldwide simply as Big E. But behind that bright smile, behind the unmatched charisma, behind the booming voice that could shake arenas, there was a journey filled with sacrifice, pain, triumph, and destiny. Today, we journey through the extraordinary life of Ettore Ewen, the powerlifter, the entertainer, the champion, the warrior, the soul of positivity, and the man whose life changed forever after one tragic moment inside the ring. And yet, even after everything, his spirit refuses to break. A story that is Hollywood in every sense, heartwarming, heartbreaking, inspiring, and unforgettable. So sit back, relax, and let your emotions take over as we dive deep into a journey that feels larger than life itself. Big E's story doesn't begin under spotlights or in front of screaming crowds. It begins in the heart of Florida, in a regular neighborhood filled with discipline, values, and love. Ettore Ewen was raised not by luxury, not by fame, but by parents who believed in character, strength, and resilience. His father, a preacher and a man of deep conviction, taught him early that life isn't measured by how much you lift in the gym, but by how much you lift others. And his mother, strong, gentle, and wise, taught him that no matter how tough the world becomes, you never let circumstances steal your smile. But Ettore didn't just grow, he built himself. Even as a child, he possessed uncommon physical strength, raw talent, and a fire that pushed him beyond average limits. Teachers noticed. Coaches noticed. His classmates noticed. He moved with power. He stood with confidence. He lived with joy that radiated like sunlight. But even with all his natural gifts, Ettore was humble, respectful, driven not by ego, but by purpose. His journey into powerlifting happened almost by fate. As a teenager, he stepped into the weight room for the first time and found a home. The iron called to him. The challenge excited him, and his body responded like it had been waiting for this moment. He wasn't just strong, he was extraordinary. He lifted more than men twice his age. His power was frightening. His control was beautiful. He became a champion, Florida's strongest youth. Then a collegiate powerhouse. Then a national-level competitor. Ettore was climbing faster than anyone could track. Coaches said he had potential to be an Olympic-level lifter. But deep inside, Ettore felt something else calling his name. Something louder. Something grander. Something theatrical. Something he had loved since childhood. Wrestling. Not just wrestling, the spectacle of WWE. The emotions. The characters. The entertainment. The unity of sport and art. He felt pulled into it the way a musician feels pulled into a song. So he made the biggest decision of his life. He stepped away from what the world expected him to be, and he chose to chase what his heart begged him to become. He signed with WE's developmental system, a journey filled with pain, exhaustion, and reinvention. But what the world didn't know was that Ettore was about to evolve into something unforgettable. At first, they didn't know what to do with him. He was quiet, serious, a powerhouse but not yet a performer. Coaches pushed him. Fellow wrestlers encouraged him. But the transformation didn't happen overnight. He failed. He struggled. He doubted. And every time he thought he had something, it slipped away. But here's the thing about Ettore, he never gives up. Not in life. Not in spirit. Not in anything. And slowly, the world began to see what he truly was, not just strong, but charismatic. Not just powerful, but hilarious. Not just athletic, but magnetic. And WWE found his spark. He became Big E, a name that matched his soul. Big presence, big heart, big laughter, big everything. He debuted as a powerhouse, a bodyguard, a silent force of nature. But the real Big E, the joyful one, the comedic genius, the expressive performer, that version was waiting for the perfect storm that would change everything. And that storm came in the form of two men, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Together, the three formed the New Day, a group that began as something people didn't understand. They were quirky, loud, eccentric, colorful. At first, fans didn't get it. Critics dismissed them. Some even booed them. But the magic was happening behind the scenes. These three men bonded like brothers. They trusted each other. They understood each other. They believed in each other. Their chemistry wasn't forced. It was natural. Their passion wasn't manufactured. It was real. And slowly, as WWE audiences watched them dance, laugh, preach positivity, and dominate the ring, something massive happened. The New Day became unstoppable. One of the greatest factions in WWE history. Multi-time tag champions. Merch kings. Fan favorites. Icons of joy and representation. And Big E was at the heart of it all. His booming voice. His explosive entrances. His incredible athletic feats. His emotional intelligence. His humor that could light up the darkest arena. Behind that energy was a man giving everything he had, not just to entertain, but to inspire. And then came his singles run. Fans had dreamed of it. Wrestlers backstage supported it. WWE finally gave him the ball, and Big E ran with it like destiny itself was cheering him on. He became Intercontinental Champion. He delivered passionate promos. He showed layers of emotion that fans had never seen before. And then came his moment. The moment that brought grown men to tears. The moment that felt like justice. The moment that cemented his legacy. Big E cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And became WWE Champion. It was a night of joy. A night of unity. A night of pure light. The locker room celebrated him. Fans erupted in happiness. The New Day embraced each other with tears in their eyes. Big E deserved that moment more than anyone could express. But life has a way of turning sharply when we least expect it. In 2022, during a match on SmackDown, Big E suffered a catastrophic fall. A suplex gone wrong. A landing no one could predict. A silence fell across the arena. And Big E, the man built like a tank, the man whose smile lit arenas, lay motionless. A cervical fracture. In 1 second, his entire life changed. He could have been paralyzed. He could have died. Fans cried. Wrestlers panicked. Doctors rushed. It was one of the darkest moments in modern wrestling. But Big E, even in pain, even in fear, remained who he is. Positive, grateful, humble, inspiring. He survived. He healed. He fought through months of uncertainty. He attended therapy. He strengthened his body and mind. And slowly, the world realized something important. Big E wasn't done. Not with life. Not with joy. Not with purpose. Even though he could no longer wrestle, WWE kept him. Fans embraced him. And Big E used his platform not to complain, not to fade away, but to lift people up, just as he had always done. He appeared on TV, smiling. He gave speeches. He supported talent. He worked behind the scenes. He became a mentor, a symbol of hope, a living example of resilience. Imagine that. A man who lost everything he worked for, still spreading positivity. That's what makes him a legend. But the biggest twist in this story is not tragedy, it's rebirth. Big E discovered new passions. Media, voice work, community service, college sports promotion, charity work. He became a role model far beyond wrestling. Not because he tried, but because that's who he is. A man who turns pain into light. A man who turns darkness into inspiration. A man who lifts others even when he hurts. Today, Big E stands as a living miracle. A survivor, a leader, a symbol, and fans still believe, deep in their hearts, that one day, maybe, if life allows, he may return to the ring. But even if he never does, his legacy is written in gold. Because Big E's greatness isn't measured by championships. It's measured by hearts he touched. Lives he inspired. Smiles he created. His story is not about muscles. It's about spirit. It's about overcoming. It's about standing tall when life tries to break you. It's about choosing hope over fear, joy over despair, gratitude over bitterness. And now, as you picture the final scene of this Hollywood story, imagine Big E standing backstage. Not in wrestling gear, but in a simple shirt, his signature smile glowing. He watches younger talent walk into the spotlight, knowing he helped them shine. He knows his journey isn't over, only transformed. He breathes deeply, looks around at the world he helped shape, and whispers to himself, "I'm still here, and I'm still Big E." He walks forward, not toward the ring, but toward a new horizon filled with possibilities, purpose, and hope. And the crowd, millions around the world, still chants his name. Big E, Big E, Big E, a man who proved that greatness doesn't end, it evolves. And that, Nation of Glory, is the powerful, emotional, Hollywood-style journey of Ettore Ewen, the incomparable Big E, the soul of joy, strength, and unbreakable resilience. Thank you for staying with us through this emotional and inspiring story. If this journey touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, share it with wrestling fans, and subscribe to Nation of Glory for more powerful stories, more cinematic experiences, and more legends brought to life through storytelling. Thank you, stay strong, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video.